Welcome to Mission Driven Founders, where passion meets purpose. If you're dreaming of starting your own business, whether it's in beauty, wellness, or beyond, you're in the right place. We are going behind the scenes with inspiring entrepreneurs who are not just building brands, but driving real change. So hit subscribe, tap the bell for updates, and stick around. This conversation could be the spark that ignites your journey. Today's guest reminds us of how music education is more than just learning notes. It's a powerful tool for confidence and opportunity. Please welcome the founder and CEO of Young Musicians Unite, Sammy Gonzalez Zeta. Sammy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for letting me be here, Wanda. Nice to meet you.
Of course, it's such a pleasure to have you, and I can't wait to hear everything about your story. Because you've turned a grassroots effort into Florida's largest free music education provider, now serving nearly 40,000 students across more than 100, right? Public schools.
Yes, 105 schools this fall.
Wow. So you are truly defining what it means to scale a mission. But before we dive into that incredible momentum, let's rewind a little. How did Young Musicians Unite come to life? Take us back to the very, very beginning. And what was the initial spark or gap you saw in public schools that made you say, I need to build something from nothing to fix this?
Yeah, I'm a product of free music education, born and raised here in Miami. I was lucky to grow up in Miami Beach, and it was a very different world back then. But we had teachers who taught for 30 to 40 years, and they were titans of industry and made such a difference in everyone's life. And I was just lucky to have free music education in the public school with people who really cared about me. And it got me on stage. It gave me the confidence I needed to be able to speak publicly. And it gave me full rides to college and allowed me to tour the world and have all these great experiences. So in 2013, I started to look around and I realized that so many of the programs that changed my life were now being cut because you have teachers that are now average 3 to 5 years. And in that turnover, we're seeing so much disruption. So it started off with just, how can I make a small difference? And I adopted a classroom at the Young Men's Preparatory Academy with just 8 different kids over there. And I remember when I went to the Young Men's Prep, I thought it would be really easy and I would make all the kids classical guitar musicians and get them into the most elite school that we had, New World School of the Arts. And after 2 lessons, I realized that this is way harder than I thought it was going to be. And I had to meet the students where they were at. So that was the humble beginnings of Young Musicians Unite.
It's always a big surprise when we start working with kids and students. I used to teach a while ago, and every day was a new surprise and something new that we learn about children, the new generation, and actually what we're teaching too, because teaching makes us learn even more, right?
Of course.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced early on when trying to grow a grassroots idea into Florida's largest free music education provider, and how did you overcome them?
First started, I didn't think that I would be growing the largest music education nonprofit in Miami and in Florida. And I just remember after the first semester of teaching, a student came up to me and he said, Mr. Sammy, will you be coming back in the fall? And what I realized in that moment is that so many people come into these students' lives and make all of these promises and think it's going to be so easy to create these programs and meet the kids. And when they realize how difficult it is, they give up and they don't even say goodbye. So I remember telling him without hesitation that I'll be coming back in the fall 100%. And I thought to myself, I will be here for these kids, at least these 8 kids, for as long as they will have me. And my job was just to keep showing up, to be consistent. And I realized that so many of these students, what they needed in their lives was consistency, someone to be there, mentor them, talk to them, have hard conversations with them. And through music, you're able to transform the lives of students in a different way. It's a tool that we're able to use to level set, have those conversations, learn differently, get them on stage, go to shows. And what are you doing when you're going to shows? You're hanging out, you're teaching them how to dress, how to behave, how to be professional, but you're also spending time. with these students, and they're spending time with their friends and having all of those opportunities. So I slowly fell in love with the work. But the thing that caught me off guard was when the in-school music teacher left at the school, all the equipment in school got stolen in the transition. And I remember the principal came to me and he said, "Mr. Sammy, we're going to cut the music program because I can't afford to buy all the instruments." And I thought to myself, there's a bunch of kids here that are on college track and they, without music, they're not going to be able to get into or pay for college. So I told the principal, look, I'll help you fundraise for the instruments, but you have to allow me to keep inventory of the instruments. You have to allow me to take the most advanced kids and put them into one class and during the school day because I was too busy after school. And let me help you hire your next music teacher. And he said yes to all three. So with that, our model started to grow because we are the only in-school music education nonprofit grades 5 to 12, but it wasn't on purpose, it was by accident. And it's because of the situation. And I'm so happy we did that because not only did I started working in school with the students and building the model. Out of those kids, four of them went off, got a full ride to college. One went to Manhattan School of Music, another one FSU in Tallahassee, another one University of Michigan, another one Berkeley College of Music. So great things came out of the first eight kids, and it made such a big difference in their lives.
That's incredible. And you turned the music department into a whole operation, the inventory control and I love that. Like you're
Yeah.
really an entrepreneur and a teacher, which is the perfect combination. I love that. So beyond the technical skills of playing an instrument, you talk a lot about how music shapes identity, discipline, and confidence in young people. Can you share a specific story of a student whose life was completely transformed by having access to your program?
There's so many stories, but I always love telling this one. We had a student, and he would just always get into fights. Like every single time I turned around, he was fighting with a kid, punching him in the face. And but like he loved the music class. He loved playing music. And what it really was that he was so upset when kids would act out or not focus or not pay attention. And the same principal came up to me and said, "Say bye to this student. It's going to be his last week. We're going to move him out to a different school." And I told the principal, "Look, just give him one more chance. Like I'll vouch for him. Let me work with him. If it happens, you kind of get it." So I talked to him and I told him that he's too talented to be doing this, and especially the school they wanted to send him to was like a detention school. I called his parents and we had a conversation. And the thing that I did was I just put him next to me every time I taught that music class. And I just had him. I was like, "You're the teacher with me. Sit next to me," and I would be able to catch in real time when he would get upset and be able to re-engage his energy. And I also started getting him to perform with other nonprofits because he just said he wanted to be busy, he wanted to perform, and being around other mentors and having that experience was able to get him outside of his box, and control his anger. You fast forward 3 years later in his senior year, he was that kid that was taking every child and mentoring them and working with them and saying, "Hey, when I leave, you have to step up, because I'm not going to be here." So he went from a bully to a mentor, and he's just changed so many students' lives. He's the student that got a full ride to FSU, and I remember years later, I was at a show, getting on stage, and I got a text, and it was from the student, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Sammy, thank you for everything you've ever done for me and for believing in me and your whole team. I'm about to step on to Carnegie Hall, which has been a dream my whole life, and perform, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you." And that made such a big difference when you get to see the lifespan of what you do. Because when you're in it, you ask yourself, like, does this matter? Is it important? Am I making a difference? And now that we have 13 years, I can point to story after story of the differences we've made in these students' lives.
That story is just beautiful. Gave me goosebumps just to follow the story and how you kept in touch with your students and how you see them, performing and being successful and how you really, really transformed their lives. That must just that alone just makes you say, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. I love it, Sammy. And you also recently raised an incredible $1.8 million at your annual gala. That speaks to massive community trust that you have with your community. And here at Crunchy Mama Box, we talk about the giving back chain, how one major act of giving inspires a ripple effect. How have you seen your community, donors, and the city of Miami rally together to create that ripple effect for these kids?
No, it's not easy to raise $1.8 million for gala, but what we do is we make it all about the kids, a celebration of them. And when you come to a gala, it's a party, it's fun. It's not the normal sense of what you think a gala is. And it's all about the kids. They're performing all night. It's always themed, and people come and they dress up and they're excited. But, not only do people who are important in our community are they there and they're supporting, but we also had over 30 government officials and school board members. It's important for us to engage a cross-sector alliance across for our kids. And what we're always doing is making the case for the arts. A lot of people just think, oh, well, you're just doing music. It's like so many of these schools are suffering from recruitment and retention, and they don't have enough kids in the school. So because of that, they don't have enough money for a full, well-rounded education. And when you go to a private school, for example, you're taking to the swimming pool, and you're taking to the courts and to this area. It's all about the extracurriculars. It's all about, we know school is great, so what else? And that's how kids find their identity, and they feel like they're a part of school. They're part of something larger than themselves. And a lot of these schools, they have nothing. They have zero opportunities. And by us bringing the music class to the school and affecting 300 kids, you're giving them that sense of identity, that opportunity to be part of something larger than themselves. And not everyone's going to become a musician, but a lot of people have to be reminded about that, of how important the music class is, how important it is to have something to look forward to when you come to school, something that is peer learning. um, Math, English, science important, but it's yes or no, right or wrong. Keep your hands down. Don't talk unless you're called on. And in music, everyone's goal is to play a piece, and we have different parts and different ways of getting there, and different ways of performing it. But at the end of the day, we're doing this group sport, this team initiative, and that's what life's about when it comes to work and team projects and everyone having their own way of getting there. And so it translates to not just to school and wanting to be there, but also to life. So that's like when we have these galas, it's really about having an opportunity to remind people about how important it is to have arts education, but what it really is to have mentorship.
That is so true. And your music classes, the actually the whole organization that you created is really creating community, within the kids and the community, the officials in the town. So, I mean, it's not just a music class, right? It's a whole organization creating community and empathy and opportunity. So I really am in love with this project and what you're
Mm.
doing. And running a massive nonprofit actually requires the sharp strategic mindset of a fast growing startup, because that really is what you did, right? You created a startup. Your music classes became a huge project. So what has been your biggest aha moment about balancing the strict business side of scaling an organization while staying deeply rooted in your core community mission?
It's still startup. It's no matter how big you are and what is going on, like we're just in new territories, so there's no playbook. But Like the mission is always everything. That is what drives us. But it's the mission that makes it difficult because our goal is every child in Miami-Dade, every child that can afford it, all 255 Title I schools, and that scale is so large that we have to reinvent systems to be able to do that. All the tech out there, we can't use any of it. And thank God we're in this era where we can actually build with AI and create custom tech and so on because it's made such a difference. We have something called the Whitening Classroom, which is online support. We're actually created our own fundraising platform called Goodness, and we're creating tools just for everything from like the day off calendar. There's 32 people working in our office, and there's over 150 people working for our company, and keeping track of them, keeping data on them, ensuring that there's programs for professional development and teacher and how to become a great teacher, not just to teach. How do you mentor teachers? How do you check in with them? How do you we have an app where at the end of each class they tell us what's going on, but more than that, if something breaks, we're able to go drop off instruments and pick up broken instruments. So we're leaning into technology to make it work, but we also have to be cost efficient and effective. So it's still startup in that way, that we're not near our goal yet. 105 schools is not 255 schools. It's not even halfway there. Um, but we still have the scrappy mindset, but it's a little different at this level where you have to lean into values and you have to lean into systems, and it could be boring to speak about, but we run our company on traction, which is entrepreneurial operating systems. It's called EOS, and just embracing certain things that work for our company is important.
So when you started teaching music, you came in to the school as a teacher. Did you imagine this? Did you ever think this was going to become this huge operation? Or did you just think when you went to teach, I'm just going to be a music teacher?
I
Not
just
just
want to
a
be.
music teacher. I don't like to say, I don't like how that sounded. Am I going
I
to focus
Yeah.
on being a music teacher? Because just a music teacher, I know how special that is to be a teacher, in any subject. It's like you have to be a certain kind of person to be there. You have to have that passion to be a teacher.
Okay, I always just wanted to be a rock star. That was my thing. I was a touring musician. Never wanted to be a music teacher or thought I was going to be a music teacher. And um, it grew way more than that, right? Like we are the teacher of teachers and taking care of so many children and kids and leading so many different initiatives. I never thought it would be something at this level. And I just embraced that I'm a builder, and my partner is also in the work is a builder also. So there's so much work to do. We live in the third largest school district in America, and you have so many cities spending millions of dollars on arts education, yet nothing changes systematically. So for me, it's not just about teaching, it's about in school, it's about after school, it's about all levels, all to recording studios, mentorships, internships, over 200 shows a year. We do youth music festivals. We know that one organization can't scale all of Miami-Dade alone, so we lead an initiative called Arts Actis Miami. We're working with 31 of the largest arts education orgs in Miami-Dade, strategizing K to 12, in school to after school, using data metrics the same. We have a whole funding network around that and cohorts and PD. And then our fourth initiative is being able to tell stories through data, policy change, and system change. So we're able to go to the state and show them data for 31 orgs, 20% reductions in tardies and absences when you put our programs in the schools, and telling them, hey, you're spending millions trying to keep kids in school, and we have something that we can show you that's working. We have a case study. So right now we have an appropriation at a state level for $600,000, which we've never done before, passed the House and Senate, but right now it's going through an audit because they're trying to still cut the budget down even more. So hopefully we make it past it. We'll see what happens. Um, but we'll, for the first time, build a system for every child in the city, something that's a North Star for every city, any city, to be able to look at and say that's how you do arts education. You don't just do it with one org, you do it with a collection of orgs, you do it with buy-in and cross-section from government and philanthropy, all working together. So I didn't expect to just do this when I was teaching music, but it just keeps growing, but it makes more and more sense, the work that we're doing.
It makes total sense. It's beautiful work. And please tell our audience how to support you, your website, your social handles, everything, because I think everyone should get involved with your project, support it in some kind of way, because I just love what you're doing. And I'm sure a lot of other people watching or listening to this, they're going to love it too.
Thank you. It's youngmusiciansunite.org or YMU.org. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that. Easy to follow, lots of great videos, lots of great press recently. And we are getting ready for a new event season coming up in August. So a lot of stuff will be coming out soon.
Incredible. Thank you, Sammy, so much for sharing your incredible journey and for your relentless work to create a more equitable and conscious world through the power of music. You've shown us how a beautiful mission, when paired with startup grit, can become an unstoppable force for good. And to everyone watching, remember to check out Young Musicians Unite through their socials or website and see how you can get involved to support their mission. And remember that every choice we make shapes the future. So let's choose wisely, live intentionally, and support those who are making a real difference. So stay inspired, stay motivated, and let's keep building a brighter future together.